Hey guys, Dr. Shook here. I'm on a rest break between sets exercising, so I'm really out of breath. But I was thinking of something that I want to share with you, and that is when people come into our office with Hashimoto's, which is the most common autoimmune condition. It's the most common in women. It is the number one reason for hypothyroid symptoms. About 90% of the people that have hypothyroidism actually have Hashimoto's. So the initial goal that we have and that I have with those people is to help them to build oral tolerance, chemical tolerance, and self-tolerance. And those are terms that are used to describe an immune response or an inappropriate immune response. A lot of times in these cases, I will primarily I'll ignore the thyroid, because the reason that the person is having thyroid symptoms is because of the autoimmune process. So if we can help them with dietary and nutritional protocols, then the whole goal is to help them support better oral tolerance. So they eat foods and they don't react immunologically to the foods and trigger an autoimmune flare. When they get exposed to chemicals, our goal is to help them so that they have a more appropriate response to the chemicals. So the goal with chemical tolerance is to not have an immune response that triggers an autoimmune flare. And then the goal with self-tolerance is to help them so that their immune system doesn't destroy their own tissues. And that is in that regard, we're trying to help them to regain self-tolerance. So all of our dietary protocols, all of our nutritional protocols, all of our testing is designed to help us re-establish those things so that the person doesn't have this autoimmune response and flare their autoimmunity so that it causes more tissue destruction. Something that's worth mentioning is that if the person has these ongoing autoimmune responses, if they continue to have autoimmunity and autoimmune flares, just as a result of the autoimmune flare, they're going to have an increase in inflammatory chemicals. These inflammatory chemicals are called cytokines. These cytokines increase when they have an autoimmune flare, and what they will do, just as a result of the autoimmune process, these cytokines, when they increase, they can do several things. They can break down the tight junctions of the gastrointestinal tract and lead to leaky gut, just as a result of the autoimmunity. They can break down the blood-brain barrier and promote an inflammatory process in the brain that will decrease the effectiveness and sensitivity of the neurons firing to one another. So decrease this neurological firing mechanism. They can decrease the sensitivity of your body to your hormones. So even though your T3, the thyroid hormone, binds to the receptor in the cell, the cytokines will decrease the proteomic response, the cellular response to the T3. And there are a number of other problems that it promotes. This inflammatory process is huge. And when we work with people that have autoimmune processes or thyroid dysfunction, and when we stop trying to just focus on the target of the immune attack and looking at the thyroid itself, and we start looking at the mechanism of the autoimmune process, that's where we can make the most change and give these people the most benefit. Sorry I'm so out of breath, and this is it's kind of tough to think when I'm deprived of oxygen. I'm trying to recover, but I hope this makes sense. With a lot of autoimmune patients and our Hashimoto's patients, the first thing we want to do is we really want to help them to regain oral tolerance to foods, chemical tolerance to environmental chemicals, and self-tolerance so their immune system doesn't attack their own tissues. And we want to do that by identifying the triggers and removing them, then using dietary and nutritional protocols to help support healing of the barrier systems and to help regain the immunological regulation of their immune system, so to help support the regulatory function of the immune system. And we want to help them do those things so that they can dampen the autoimmunity and ultimately improve this and decrease this inflammatory cascade, which oftentimes we see when we do that, we can make some really impactful changes and really help these people improve their quality of life. I'm Dr. Shook. I hope you guys appreciate this. I hope you learned something. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks.